Welcome back to Kaleidoscope, and I have my first guest here, and I would like to welcome Miss Megan Boone. How are you doing, Megan?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me, Dr. Abel.
Thank you. So glad to have you on our show for the first semester. I know you have shared this information with us before, but I have to ask you again. You have to tell us a little bit about how you got here to Moorhead and a little bit about your background.
Certainly. I've been here, I guess, since 2010 now. Before that, I've worked in the career services, career counseling field for 10 years, and prior to that, I worked in human resources, so I've kind of been on both sides of the coin, so to speak.
Okay. And where are you from? Where are you native from?
Yeah, I'm originally from Owsley County, Kentucky, about 2 hours from here.
Oh, really? I didn't realize you was a Kentucky native.
No good way to get there from here. It's a very rural area.
Okay.
But yes.
Well, what's it near? I've heard of your county, but I was trying to think of...
There's really no town nearby, but the nearest landmark would be Natural Bridge State Resort Park.
Yes, okay. Just want to give our viewers a little bit of where you possibly come from and being a Kentucky native, which is good to know. But we just want to come back and share now with some of the activities, events that you're having with the Career Center and what you want to share with us that's going on over there. Here's some good things that are going on over there.
Yeah, we've got a couple of our biggest events coming up. We've got our Resume Blitz, which is going to be next Tuesday and Wednesday.
Next Tuesday.
It's from 10 until 2 both days on the second floor of ADUC.
Okay, and what dates are that? You said next Tuesday and
Wednesday? It's Tuesday,
Wednesday.
February 18th. We've got some employers that are going to be there to review the resumes. On Tuesday, we've got Alltech, Enterprise Rent-A-Car, as well as Kelly Engineering. And then on Wednesday, we've got a different mix of employers. It's going to be Cintas, Farm Credit, Mid-America, and Mazak.
All right, very good. It sounds interesting. I've seen a lot of the promotions already out. So you think we had a lot of students to possibly call and inquire anything, or do you know? Or you just won't know until that actual day?
We won't know until the day. It's a first come, first serve event, so no appointment necessary. Just show up at ADUC with a hard copy of your resume in hand, and we'll pair you up with an employer and sit down one-on-one, kind of like we are here, and offer advice on the resume. Well,
good. So you got we're going to have a lot of our staff here on campus that will help students get their resumes ready?
It's actually more the employers, so it's actual HR people from these organizations volunteering their time. So it's a great chance for your viewers to get an employer's opinion on the resume before they apply for an internship or a job.
I understand. And then what else do you have going on? I hear you got something else big coming up.
We do, the big career fair.
Career fair. What date is that?
It's Tuesday, March 4th.
March 4th.
It's going to be in ADUC as well from 10 until 1. It's just one day, so you get one shot at it. We've got, we're hoping for over 60 organizations. It's a mix of employers as well as graduate programs.
Okay. Does anything tend to stand out as it relates to that particular career fair that we find that possibly really does a lot of recruiting here? I know some of them come, but we seem like, I don't know if they tend to not get some of our students, or what do you think the students need to do, or who they might need to gear their resumes toward that would be enticing, for lack of words here, to the employers? I mean, I know we have so many. I remember we even have some of the police departments coming.
Yeah, it's a real mix. I mean, there'll be hospitals there, engineering firms, kind of general business agencies, some, law enforcement type things like you're mentioning, social service agencies. One of the things I would recommend that students and alumni, and it's open to the community as well, what they should do is research who's going to be there ahead of time.
Okay.
We've made it really easy. Go to our website, moorheadstate.edu/career. You can see the whole list of everyone that's going to be there. They'll indicate a little bit about the organization, what majors they're looking for, and whether they're looking for full-time employees, interns, or if they're graduate schools and wanting to share information about their graduate programs.
Well, very good. And Megan, I just want to say thank you for coming on and sharing that information. We'll put it out there for you, for our students, so we know that they have no reason that they can't come.
That's right. We hope to see everyone there.
Right. The career fair and the resume blitz.
Yes.
Don't forget those dates. Thank you, and we'll be right back.
It never gets old, huh?
Nope.
It kind of makes you wanna...
Break into song?
Yup. I love the sunset.
I love Eagle Lake.
I love the forest. I love when eagles play.
I love the campus!
And all its sights and sounds.
Boom-de-yada, 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 boom-de-yada.
I love philosophy.
We love diversity.
And all its weird words.
I love the music.
And all its melodies. Boom diada, boom diada.
Boom diada, boom diada.
I love fraternities.
I love sororities.
I love to draw things.
And all the athletes.
I love Moorhead.
It's such a pretty place.
Welcome back to Kaleidoscope, and I have my next guest on, Mr. Mike Exposito, and I just want him to share a little bit about his background here at Moorhead and what he does, but I really want to start out first with how he got to Moorhead and what he had previously, his career and background, where he's from.
Well, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I started at Moorhead State in student activities in 2007.
Okay.
And switched over to career services in fall of 2012. No, excuse
Okay.
me, 2013. I got here. I'm an alum of Moorhead State. Graduated in '95. Did my master's work at Western,
All
and
right.
then ended up in Montana, of all places.
Montana.
Spent some time also in Boise State, and then came home.
Okay.
Back to Moorhead.
No place like home. And
That's right.
you're a Kentucky native too, is that right?
Yes, I am.
And where are you from?
Lexington.
All right, some place we can we know we can
We
connect
know where
to
that is, yes.
Lexington. Very good. In being a part of student life, I understand now you're in another department. So share a little bit with us about that changeover.
Sure. In July of this past year, became a career counselor and internship coordinator at Career Services.
Okay.
Career Services is something I've always had a passion for. I've always helped students, even though I've been in student activities. And so when the opportunity came to move into Career Services, a job came open, and I thought, this is what I want to do. This is the next step. This is how I can continue to help and serve students.
Sure.
And stay at Moorhead, and have enjoyed this last 7 months immensely.
Well, that's what I was just getting ready to ask. Did that mean that did you have to go back and get more training, or were you able to use this in working in student life as sort of like a spin-off to come over Career Services? Did you have to get more training?
I did have to get more training. I got some things beforehand. I had spoken with Julia Hawkins, who's the director of Career Services.
Okay.
She suggested some things because I was telling her a few years ago that Career Services is an area I've always been interested in and would like to be involved with, and asked her what I should do, and she gave me some excellent advice. And so after about a couple years of getting training here and there, I was able to move into Career Services.
Okay, and then tell us your title and what your job duties are over there.
Sure. I am a career counselor and internship coordinator. So career counseling, part of that is to help students with their resumes, job search, all of this typical kinds of things that students need help with regards to those kinds of things. But the other half of my job is the internship coordination.
Okay.
Internships are crucial for students in this day and age because leaving college with just a degree is not enough to guarantee you employment after college. And internships are a great way for you to sort of test drive a career. And if you like this, then you've built experience, and you might discover you don't like this and want to look at something else. And
That's exactly right. On a given day, how many students do you normally see, or do you go out to the different, let's say, different disciplines and talk to students, or do they come to you?
All of the above. It's
Okay.
like today I saw as many as 5 students. I also went and presented how to do a resume to a class of criminology. I have tomorrow another class that I'm presenting to, and I have several student appointments. So anything that the students need, I'm able to do and want to go out and do that. Outreach is important because so many people don't know the services that our Career Services Office has. Outreach to them is important.
Okay. Well, Mike, I want to say thank you so very much for coming on. And I just want you to reinforce some of the other events and activities as Megan did just before, so that we can reinforce, so that there's no reason why our viewers should know exactly when the resume blitz is and the career fair. So the resume blitz is when?
Tuesday, February 18th, and Wednesday, February 19th.
All right, and the career fair?
Is Tuesday, March the 4th.
All right. Again, Mike, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back. First, okay. Welcome back to Kaleidoscope, and we're glad to have you back. We're now changing segments here, and since February is Black History Month, I felt it no more than befitting that we have some form of Black history about Kentucky. And we have a great researcher and instructor here at Morehead State University who is definitely researching a lot of blacks in Kentucky. And I just want to say thank you, Dr. Ben Fitzpatrick, for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
And I know you have some information for us. And first, Ben, I'd like for you to give us a little bit about background about you and how you got here. And I think you're a native Kentuckian too, right?
I am a native Kentuckian.
It's been a good day.
Just like your two previous guests.
Right.
I'm from Somerset, Kentucky.
Okay.
Pulaski County. I don't know.
All right, Pulaski. I
probably
know.
heard of Somerset. Okay. So that's where I'm from. I did my undergraduate work at Eastern Kentucky University. I did my graduate work at the University of Notre Dame.
Okay.
And before I came here, I was a teacher at Florida State College down in Jacksonville. And I was a visiting lecturer at Indiana University South Bend.
Oh, wow.
So I've been here since 2010.
Very good. But it's good to be back home, close to home, right?
It is.
Right? Get close to family members and that kind of thing.
It is.
But I know you have so many works, and I'm just so proud to know that we have a historian here who really tries to research things that goes on in Kentucky. And the last time you came on, you talked about the slave trade. I can remember that.
The Clark brothers, yes.
And I just wanted to bring you on again because I know you are just that kind of person that you're always researching something, and you have a new passion that you are researching now. So I want you to share a little bit about that with us. I want you to kind of get started with it. But just before you do, just give us a real summary. Where is your research as relates to the slave trade in Kentucky? Did you finalize that? Anything?
No, the problem with that is that the Clark brothers, basically all the information that I could gather was just about through their narrative. Their information that I just couldn't find a whole lot of sort of outside resources to corroborate, so I've kind of had to put that on the back burner. But what I did sort of pick up on was this Life of May Street Kid.
Okay.
So it kind of moved from the antebellum into sort of the 20th century.
Yes,
so,
yes.
So, yeah.
But by you putting it on the back burner, what do you think it's going to take for you to bring it back to full fruition here and complete that? Because I was very interested in that.
Yeah.
I think you brought some good things the last time you were on.
I think that what I'm going to have to do with the Clark brothers is I'm just going to have to maybe edit their narrative.
Okay.
And maybe not biography because there's just not enough information on them, and so it really wouldn't be a very good biography.
Wow.
So I'm going to have to edit their narratives.
Okay. Yeah. And then what inspired you to have this particular topic as it relates to May Street Kid?
A couple of years ago, I did a talk at the ACLU in Lexington.
Okay.
And this talk was basically
Now
just
be sure you got to tell our viewers what ACLU is. Acronyms, everybody doesn't know what that
the American
stands
Civil
for.
Liberties Union.
All right.
And I gave a talk there in Lexington. And that talk was about how the state of Kentucky essentially tried to squeeze the rights from blacks and also for free blacks from movement. Trying to, for example, blacks couldn't move about freely. They had to have freedom certificates, papers, those sort of things.
Okay.
And that's what the talk was really sort of about. But as I was doing my research, I ran across this narrative / biography of May Street Kid. It's called Passing for Black, the life.
You hold it up to our camera here so they could see that.
Yeah, it's called Passing.
Over here.
It's called
there you go.
Passing for Black.
There you go.
The life and careers of May Street Kid. And I'm ashamed to say I didn't know anything about May Street Kid prior to reading this.
Wow.
Reading this, and you being a Louisville native, you
Yes.
probably have heard quite a bit about May Street Kid. But May Street Kid was really one of the, well, she was one of 3 African Americans elected to the Kentucky General Assembly in 1968. She came in at the same time as Georgia Davis, who is the first African American and the first woman to be elected to the Kentucky General Assembly. So as her title connotes here, Passing for Black, the life and careers of May Street Kid, you can see that she's of mixed race. And her experience is somewhat different than some blacks who were light complexioned in the sense that she felt like she was passing for black. Whereas some of these folks would have, using that light complexion, have attempted to pass for white. But she didn't do that. And also the life and careers of May Street Kid. She had multiple careers throughout her life. She worked for the Mammoth Life and Accident Insurance Company, which was this huge black-owned insurance company in Louisville. She worked for them almost 40-some years. And then she went on to become a politician.
That's right.
And that was sort of like very late in life. She was in her 60s.
That's right.
And she served from 1968 to 1984.
Right. And I have a little bit that I can interact with you on. As I shared with you earlier, I had the opportunity and the privilege to be in different forums with her. So I'm real impressed, and to know that she is somewhat a pillar of some of the black history as it relates to Louisville, Kentucky. So we're going to hold it there and come back with a commercial, and we'll be right back.
Final Pulse is solely the work of John Dunaway, Sam Bell, and Robert Hamilton, does not necessarily reflect the views of Morehead State University.
And welcome back to Kaleidoscope. I'm still here with my guest, Dr. Ben Fitzpatrick, who is a historian that is talking about May Street Kid. He's going to share a little bit more information about her and his works and what he's found out about her and that kind of thing. But as I was sharing with him during the commercial, I had the opportunity to work with and be involved with May Street Kid back with the NAACP, the Louisville branch of NAACP, and it was just a great opportunity to meet her and just understand some of the experiences that she had encountered here in the Louisville area. And so I want to pass it back over to you, Ben, and just tell us a little bit more about some of the information that you found and what you have shared, what you'd like to share with us about your research with about May Street Kid.
Well, just sort of a short biography here of May Street Kid. She was born in Millersburg, which is over in Bourbon County.
Okay.
And her
you have some pictures. Is that about when you want the pictures to come up?
Yes. The first picture is of her mother, Annabelle Lear Taylor.
Okay. We have the pictures for May Street Kid.
They're coming up.
Keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Annabelle Lear Taylor. And her father was a white man. His name was Charles Robert Jones.
Okay, there she is.
Yeah.
That's May Street Kid's mother?
Yes, her name is Annabelle Lear Taylor. And as you can see, she was of mixed race as well.
Yes.
And a man named Charles Robert Jones was May's father. He was a white man. And he came from a very prominent white family in the community.
Okay.
And the story is that May's mother worked in the home of Robert Taylor Jones, and that's where they met.
Oh, okay.
And this appears to be sort of a very long-lasting relationship.
Okay.
May was one of 2 children that they had. She had a brother. His name was George Jones.
Okay.
So this was not just some sort of fly-by-night relationship that we tend to find. But the problem is that in Kentucky, this type of relationship was not legally recognized. Interracial marriages. So that was not going to happen. But the interesting thing about her growing up in Millersburg is that she was sort of able to cross all of these racial boundaries.
Yes.
People knew all about this relationship. They knew who her father was, and in her narrative, she talks about being able to shop in stores that other black people would not have been able to. But because of her family, people knew her, and she was able to sort of cross these boundaries. And she's constantly doing this throughout her life. She's what I call an occasional passer.
That's right.
In other words, she would go into a store and shop, and the clerk, they couldn't discern her race, but she would never say anything.
That's right.
But so she's not one of these people who goes on these direct confrontations. She just sort of goes about her way.
Subtle.
Very subtle. Yes. There's a wonderful story that she talks about. She's on a train with one of her brothers, one of her half-brothers. Okay. And this, her half-brother was a little bit darker than she was. Okay. And of course.
But you didn't have a picture of him, did you?
No, I didn't have a picture.
Okay.
Can you bring up a picture of May when she was younger? I think that's the
You have a picture of May when she was younger.
Yes,
okay, there we go.
Yes, that's her in the 1920s, right when she was living in Louisville.
Okay.
But she tells this wonderful story of being on a train in the 1940s with her brother, who's of darker complexion, and they're sitting in the coloreds only section of the train, and the conductor says, young lady, you can't sit here. This is for black people. You need to move to the white section. And she refuses to move.
Wow.
She refuses. And he keeps saying, you need to move. And she refuses. And she never explains herself. She just says, I'm not moving.
Wow.
And so she has that sort of way that she's not going to sort of be direct confrontational, but at the same time, she always sort of stood up for herself. Okay. And this is certainly reflected in the way that she went about her business in the Kentucky legislature at Well.
What's the next picture you have? You just got a couple of more minutes. I want to get your pictures up. What other picture did you bring?
This is May in the Red Cross during World War II. She left Mammoth Life in accident and joined the Red Cross. And essentially, she was an assistant director of a club for black soldiers in Southampton, England. And it's in England where she meets her second husband, a man named James Kidd.
That's right.
Yes.
All right. And what's the next picture you have?
This is May and her second husband, James Kidd.
That's James Kidd.
Her first husband, her name was Horace Street, and he died around 1942.
Okay, all right. All righty then. And just to do a summation, because we don't have much time left, what else did you find that you found to be interesting about her? We got 1 minute, so I just want you to kind of encapsulate everything real quick like for us.
Two things to sort of keep in mind about May. When she gets into the Kentucky General Assembly, one of the first things that she does is begin to fight against Jim Crowism and segregation.
Okay.
We have one of the first Southern state laws against discrimination in housing passed in Kentucky because of May. Right. And also Georgia Davis Powers and a black man named Hughes McGill. It's an open housing ordinance passed in 1968. It's one of the first Southern states. Kentucky is one of the first Southern states to pass an open housing ordinance.
Okay. All right. if we don't have anything else to remember, we know that definitely. And I know you're still not through with that research.
Right.
So I might have to bring you back on to finalize everything, because she is a very interesting lady, and she brings a lot of history to our state. And so I just want to say again, thank you, Ben, for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
And hope to see you again, and we will continue on with talking about May Street Kid.
Thank you very much.
My name is Scotty Purnell. I've been here 9 years. We take the trash out of the buildings and put it in the garbage truck. In there, the chute is way up high on the wall where the trash comes out into the buggy. And you have to take a big iron hook, reach up and hook the trash, and it's falling down towards you. It's not a boring job. It's, you can get out and talk. We're always finding something very interesting. You never know what you're going to find in the trash. I like my job very much.
Welcome back to Kaleidoscope, and I just want to say thank you for coming on our segment this semester. This is our first one. Our theme was career fair programs and activities and our Black history in Kentucky. I want to thank my guests, Ms. Megan Boone, Mr. Mike Exposito of Career Services, University MSU's Career Services, and Dr. Ben Fitzpatrick, who is our instructor of history, in sharing information with us about Blacks in Kentucky. He shared with us some of his initial research on May Street Kid, and I think he did a great job, and we also had him to talk about his previous research. So thank you, and see you at our next segment. Have a great and safe time until we meet again.